This is a video by Adventure Link. Hey, how are you? Good day, good evening. Hope your day or evening is going well for you. Anyways, today's video is going to show you guys how to run a relay and install an aftermarket radio doubled in your 2004 Mercury Grand Marquis GS. Though this could apply to pretty much most Panthers from 1998 through 2011. Now, I know I'm going to catch some flack here initially for this video because there's probably plenty of other videos on how to do this, but are there any other videos out there to show you do a doubled-in installation? Or perhaps maybe an installation that has like several more wires than what you anticipated? Well, look no further because this is the radio we're going to be installing today. This Pioneer AVIC-X940 or AVIC-X940BT rather. As you can see, it's a doubled-in radio with GPS, Bluetooth, iPod, etc. But enough of that. Looks like the first thing you should do is, of course, pop the old radio out. In this regard, I do have a Shosh factory DIN radio removal tool, part number DT1. Though I'm pretty sure you can use Metra 86-5618 removal keys. Pretty much what it is just those little U-bars. You put one in on this side, one in on the other side, just like so. Then what you do is pull away on each side, like you want to pull this way, do it at the same time. Pull the radio out. You'll have your radio out. There should be 3 electrical connectors at the back. Undo those and undo the antenna connector. And just so you know, if you all remember the relay, or not the relay, but the power line project video, I had 2 lines run in, a red line and a green line. Today's video is going to showcase the green line, so you could technically kind of consider this a supplement to the power line project, because I did get a chance to show the relay, but today we're doing the relay. Sweet. So let's yank this radio out now. After you remove the radio, this is normally what your hole should look like without the red power lines. I already took the liberty of running in these lines already, but I'm going to have to run in a couple more, which I'll show you guys how to do that. But right now I want to pay attention to this particular connector here. This will vary based on what kind of Panther you have. In this regard, it is my understanding that this is for the civilian Crown Victorias with some options on it, like CVLX and all that, as well as the Grand Marquis. I think the Lincoln Town Car has this too, but I'm not for sure. Don't quote me on that. But as far as I know, 90s Crown Vics up to 97, as well as base model Crown Vics and Police Interceptor Crown Vics will have a different connector than this. Just so you know, the electrical connector we're using today is Metra 70-177, or not 1771, but 70-5521. These are all the connectors you may need, just so you know. So don't try to use a all-in-one Ford connector, because most likely it's not going to work on your Grand Marquis. I will provide more information in the video description regarding the different radio connectors if you all need some help on that. And this is the Ford kit for doubled-in radios, part number 95-5817. Just as a fair warning, check this out. Once the kit is snapped in, it cannot be removed without dash panel removal. So just as a fair warning, after we get this radio in, before you put your kit in, or if you're going to go kitless, make sure you do take several test drives, make sure everything works, make sure you do not short circuit it, because once this is in, it's in, and you cannot get the radio out unless you remove the dash panel. Yeah, speaking of the Dremel, this is what you need to Dremel out. This down here, this up here, and this all the way around here, because as is, this radio does not fit in the hole with all this garbage around it, so you will need to take your Dremel or some other cutting tool and cut this out now. And watch me go with this Dremel, guys. Obviously, you see a lot of dust around there, so just as a fair warning, you might want to take some compressed air or something to blow all this out when you're finished. That way it looks all nice and professional, nice and clean. Make sure you're wearing your safety goggles, as always. Because remember, safety, structural integrity, quality, the right tools and parts for the right job, and doing the job right the first time, every time, are all number one. And all these will always lead to a safe, fun, and overall less frustrating experience while you work on your vehicle. Ain't had that Dremel yet? Ain't had it put to use like this and already? As you can see, it's already flashing that low battery light. Really worked hard on this. But, as you can see, it looks fairly good. Still got some dust in there, so once again, if you didn't hear me, like I said, take some compressed air and blow some of that dust out of there. That way, you're not interfering with the electrical connections. You're not interfering with the operation of your new radio, etc. So, go on ahead and clean your mess up now. Alrighty, now we've come to the fun part, wire running. Now, you should ideally run 3 wires. You want to get them from this hole you just cut out. Well, it was just there, but you cut it out even further. You want to take them from this hole. Get them down there onto the floorboard. Final destination is out there. Out of this grommet. Out to under the hood. Ideally, you want, like I said, 3 lines. What I would do is make a red line, yellow line, and then another line of, well, your color, but don't make it the first 2 or make it black or whatever, because black is ground and you just use the first 2 colors. And in this regard, your red wire should be for the relay ignition trigger on the red wire of your radio harness. The yellow wire is for your constant hot wire on your radio harness. The blue wire, or whatever your color of your third wire should be, that's going to be for your VSS signal, which I will show you in a moment. What I did was I took a shoestring, tied both the wires there, ran it through my radio hole, and somehow it ended up down here. You may want to feel around for it till it gets down here. Once you get it all tied together and ran, you should just pull the shoestring and the wire should pull through. A couple quick things I forgot to mention is that to get better access to the grommet and the wires, what I did was I took this plastic piece here, took it down. These 2 little Christmas tree pins hold it up, so use your bare hands or a flathead screwdriver or a panel remover to pop those out. In addition, there's another little plastic piece that holds it in. I just carefully took it out by hand. So you could yank that out if you wish. Something I should have went over in the original power line video, but forgot to mention it. In addition, to better bore out that hole, you could take a wire hanger and poke a hole, then take a Phillips screwdriver, poke the hole further. What I would do is I would put a little bit of lubricant on there. What I personally did was use some old power steering fluid. Coated it lightly a little bit with the power steering fluid. Jabbed it in and out several times until I made the hole nice and bored out. And then I ran my wires through the holes. So, go on ahead and resume running your wires to the outside of your vehicle. While we wait for it to quit raining, I figured I'd go over this hodgepodge of electrical connector real fast and how to set it up. Obviously, if you're setting up for the first time, you want to splice everything on by color, the green to green, purple to purple, purple black to purple black, etc. But there are 2 exceptions. First off is the red wire. Hold off on that for now. The yellow wire, do not splice that in. Instead, this yellow wire on your main harness that goes to the radio, this black end over here someplace, right here. Instead, we're going to tap this main power, this yellow wire, into the yellow wire that you ran earlier. So you don't need the yellow wire on the harness. We're going to bypass that. The red wire is your ignition trigger. That's for your relay. This is where the red wire from, obviously the hole we cut out earlier, that's where the red wire goes. And that's why I got this big fat piece of heat shrink wrap already on it. That way I can shrink wrap my splice down effectively. Now on this end, I was not kidding when I said hodgepodge of electrical connector. In this regard, the purple wire here is the reverse gear input for when you put the vehicle in reverse. The pink wire is your VSS input. The green wire is, the light green wire anyway, is for your parking brake signal. Normally you would tap this into the main power of your parking brake where it switches on and off, but we're going to bypass that. I'll tell you how in a minute. And of course the blue wire is for your system remote control or for your amp if you're going to install one. Now like I said, we're going to bypass this wire or the parking brake, just so you know. This yellow wire with the black stripe on it, that's your mute wire. It's cleverly tagged as mute, just so you know. What you want to do is take a piece of wire, that hole, see that hole there above the mute wire? What I did was I stripped off the parking brake wire, ran the whole wire in except for 2 strands. Open this connector up here, this little access door with my thumbs rubbing up on. Opened up with a jeweler's screwdriver to the best I could. Fed 2 copper strands through it, bent it up. And then of course you want to take your parking brake wire, chop it off halfway, splice the parking brake wire, this light green wire here, and the light green wire coming from the parking brake signal from the main power source. Splice it into your ground. You'll have one big fat ground connection. That's how you bypass the parking brake switch on this radio. A YouTube user, I believe the name of Marks Eduardo, posted this. Thanks again, buddy. Obviously that video worked for me. So thanks again. I will put a link to that in the video description. In addition, you could use a micro bypass kit, which costs like $10 in shipping and handling, but on the other hand, the wire actually looks much more cleaner and professional, and there's a tool there that pops out this access cover here more efficiently, so you don't screw up your connector. Okay, so now we need to tap in for the VSS input. I believe that's this gray wire with the black stripe. Right there, we're going to use the blue wire from earlier to tap into the VSS. A friend of mine from class, Mary Phillips, told me all about this. Just so you know, this is your cruise module. There's your VSS signal, the black and gray wire, so thanks a lot. In addition, there are 2 other taps you could use. There is a wire that goes into the light control module. I want to say it's also gray and black. Don't quote me on that. In addition, sorry, there's also a gray and black wire that's in the back of your instrument cluster on the Crown Victorias and Grand Marquis, as well as the Mercury Marauder. I do believe on the Crown Vic and Grand Marquis, it's in pin number 16 of the black connector. The white connector on the Mercury Marauder is pin number 2. Either way, it seems to be that the gray and black wire, the gray wire with the black stripe, seems to be the common denominator between all these terminations. And just so you know, on the CrownVic.net forums, a guy named Black Vic P71 told me about the light control module signal, and K Gixer 7 told me about the VSS signal in the cluster. Thanks again, appreciate it. But I guess I'm going to end up terminating it this way because it seems to be the easiest, and I really don't feel like taking the dashboard out, but I will link that thread in the video description, as well as a PDF file for the pinouts on the instrument cluster. What you want to do, I guess, is we're going to take a utility knife, cut some of this conduit out, cut the gray and black wire, say about halfway through, put a jumper wire in, and then we're going to solder in the blue wire going to the VSS to the radio. So I'm going ahead and get that started now. Now it's time to install the relay finally. Just like last time, the red wire should have been soldered to your ignition wire, which is the red wire on your radio harness. The yellow wire, you can go ahead and terminate that to your battery positive over here. Just make sure that you do have a fuse holder within 6 inches from the battery. I would personally put no more than a 5 amp fuse maximum to start with. If you feel that you need a stronger fuse after you stress tested it a while, then go ahead and put a stronger fuse in, gradually bumping it up. But try not to exceed the capacity of a wire. Disregard, this is a 16 gauge wire, which shouldn't go no more than 13 amps anyway. And this is your relay here. I bought this off of Amazon.com. It was a pack of 5. It appears that the yellow wire and the red wire are for the ignition or for the relay trigger coil. The blue wire and the red and the black wire are for your normally open relay contact, which closes when energized. I believe the black wire is controlling pin 30. Yep, black wire controls pin 30, and the blue wire controls pin 87. So you want to solder your relay connector. The red wire goes to the red wire here, which, like I said, should be off of the relay trigger. And then the yellow wire, terminate that to ground. You should have a decent ground somewhere. Well, somewhere back here. There's one right there. Okay, so my installation earlier was kind of a mess. My radio stuck out like this far out, kind of, give or take. But I guess as a mechanic's tip, we're going to try to decipher this mess. So just so you know, what I found out was that there's a little pocket back here where you can stick the main wiring harness. They took good advantage of that. In addition, the 2 leftover plugs that we didn't use, you can stuff up there. Remember the shoestring from earlier? Now you know how that other harness had all those AV connectors on there? Well, you could actually see if you can try to stuff all those back there in this hole. Probably can't see it, but you could probably see a little bit better now, but it's back here. Just run your shoestring down there. Run all those AV lines down there as far as you can. And, of course, try to stuff your wires in as neatly as you can. And then, of course, give it a test drive. Also, in this regard, there's a GPS antenna. Normally, you would try to Dremel in the dash. I'm guessing you'll probably want to Dremel like somewhere right here, right around here, if you can get it. But since my Dremel ran out of charge, lesson learned, get an electric Dremel instead. I decided to do this. Now, just so you know, there's a magnet pad here. The weight of this was big enough to where I could just pull it down anyway. It's not like it was just a piece of wire. So the gravity on the GPS module here just pulled down, so I was able to just touch and feel without having to run shoestrings. What I'm going to try to do is try to stick it behind this panel back here because of the magnet pad. We'll see how long this lasts. Okay, so the relay is in. Unfortunately, I ran out of fuse holders, so I managed to get the radio in, but the radio works. Just so you know, this is my green wire that would have normally went to this relay project. Just so you know, once again, you want to take that green wire or whatever it was you ran into your car under the hood to the blue wire here. That's for pin 87. Pin 30 goes to your battery, to your fuse holder, and then from the fuse end in here is where this black wire goes. This goes to the rest of your loads. I guess this is just a basic overview on how to put the relay in as well as put the radio in. From here, now you can make anything power with the relay. You can get creative here. Backup cameras that run when the car runs, seat warmers, DVD players, screens, Nintendos. Just only limit your imagination and a fuse and power and ground. That's all it takes is power and ground in this relay switch whenever the key is in run or accessories. And that's it. you're done. That's all there is to installing the Pioneer AVIC-X940BT, I believe it was, as well as running this relay into your 2004 Mercury Grand Marquis GS, though once again this can apply to most Panthers, for the most part, except some town cars which have some funky radio setup. And remember, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, praise, etc. about this video, hit me up in the comments section. If you have any questions about the Ford Panther platform as a whole, which covers the Ford Crown Victoria, Mercury Grand Marquis, Lincoln Town Car, and Mercury Marauder, hit up the CrownVic.net forums, or if you need immediate assistance and have a Facebook account, search on Facebook for CrownVic.net, subscribe to their group, and post your questions. And the fine folks at either medium will be happy to answer your questions in a timely manner. If you want to see more videos from me, be it stances, rants, repair videos, vlogs, quick tips and reviews, and others, hit the subscribe button at the top of this video or any other video that I make. It's not hard. You will be automatically subscribed to any video that I produce. And you can also go over my old videos if you wish. This has been Adventure Link. I'm going to close the video out as always by quoting Eric the Car Guy. Be safe, have fun, and as always, stay dirty. See you next time.